In this instructional video, students will learn how their knowledge of addition and subtraction from 3rd grade can be translated to 4th grade addition and subtraction by using the traditional algorithm. In 3rd grade, students learn how to add by focusing on place value and strategies related to place value. If a student was given this problem in 3rd grade, the first thing they would do is expand each number by place value and line the numbers up by place value and add each digit by place value. Let's use this equation as an example for what students are familiar with from 3rd grade. 8 plus 3 equals 11. 11 is 1 10 and 1 1, so we would place the 1 under the ones place and add the 10 to the tens place. Then we add together the tens place. 60 plus 50 plus 10 equals 120. We would put the 20 in the tens place and regroup the 100 to the hundreds place. Next, we add the hundreds place. 400 plus 300 is 700, plus 100 equals 800. Once the student has added together all of the place value, they add the numbers together by place value to get to 821. Transitioning to 4th grade, the students will be introduced to the traditional algorithm for addition. Students will line the numbers up by place value. Starting with the ones place, they will add 8 plus 3 equals 11. They will regroup the 1 to the tens place because that does represent a 10. They will then add together 60 plus 50 plus 10, which equals 120. However, the students will represent this by placing a 2 in the tens place and a 1 in the hundreds place. Next, we will add together 300 plus 400 plus 100, which equals 800. The students represent the 800 by putting an 8 in the hundreds place, arriving at the same answer of 821 with using the traditional algorithm for addition. In 3rd grade, students learn to subtract by focusing on place value and strategies related to place value. If a student was given this problem in the 3rd grade, the first thing they would do is expand each number by place value, line up the numbers by place value, and subtract each digit by place value. Let's use this equation as an example for what students are familiar with from 3rd grade. Looking at the ones digit, the student can see that they need to regroup from the tens place to subtract from the ones place. 10 is regrouped from the tens place, regrouping the 20 into a 10 and regrouping the 10 into 13. Now we can subtract from the ones place. 13 minus 8 equals 5. Moving to the tens place, we will need to regroup from the hundreds place. 700 regrouped to the tens place means that 700 is regrouped to 600, and the 10 regroups to 110. 110 minus 40 equals 70. And lastly, we subtract from the hundreds place. 600 minus 300 equals 300. Then we add together each place value to arrive at the answer of 375. Transitioning to 4th grade, the students will perform subtraction using the standard algorithm. The students would start with the ones place, realizing they would need to regroup from the tens place. They will regroup the 20 into a 10, representing that as a 1, and regroup the 1 to a 13. They would then subtract 13 minus 8, which is 5. Moving to the tens place, we need to regroup from the hundreds place. 700 regroups to 600, represented as 6, and the 10 regroups to 110, represented as an 11. 110 minus 40 equals 70, and that's represented as 7. Lastly, 600 minus 300 is 300, represented as 3. The students will arrive at the same answer using the traditional algorithm for subtraction. Subtraction across zeros is another concept covered in 4th grade. In 3rd grade, students would write the equation in expanded form, representing 700 with a 0 in the tens and the ones place. Since the student would need to regroup in order to subtract, the student would regroup from the tens place, but since there are no tens, the student would regroup to the hundreds. 700 would regroup to 600, and the 100 would be regrouped to 100 in the tens place. However, we still need a value in the ones place in order to subtract, so we would regroup the 100 to be a 90 in the hundreds place and a 10 in the ones place. We can now subtract across the entire equation. 10 minus 4 equals 6, 90 minus 20 equals 70, and 600 minus 300 equals 300. Now we add together each place value to arrive at our answer of 376. Transitioning to fourth grade, the students will be expected to perform subtraction across zeros using the traditional algorithm. The students write the equation vertically to set up the equation to subtract. We need to regroup in order to subtract the ones place. We are not able to regroup from the tens place, so we need to regroup from the hundreds place. We will regroup 700 to 600, representing that as a 6, and the 100 will be regrouped to the tens place as 100, represented as 10. We still need to regroup to subtract in the ones place, so the 100 would be regrouped to 90, and that 10 would be regrouped as 10 in the ones place. Now we can subtract across the entire equation. 10 minus 4 equals 6. 90 minus 20 equals 70, represented as 7. And 600 minus 300 equals 300, represented as 3. The students will arrive at the same answer by using the traditional algorithm for subtraction.